much fun they gotta do? What?
Welcome guys, it's your boy, Japanese Tutor, and we're back at it again, and we're going to do pawn structure. Today we have a really cool game versus Miguel Quinteros versus Ron W. Henley. It's going to show us about White's plan d4, d5. We saw that in the previous video where White can play d5 and get away with it even with 3 pieces defending it. So in this one, we're going to go over when should White push d4, d5. Okay, so let's go ahead and read from the text. And if you want the book and want to follow along with us, down below will be the link. And then also I have the other books that I recommend there as well. So let's get started. White's d4, d5. When White meets c5 by pushing his d pawn, it is usually captured by the e pawn. If White recaptures with his c pawn, the new d5 pawn can become a strong passer or highly vulnerable target. On the other hand, if he recaptures with something on d5 with if he recaptures d5 with a piece, the resulting structure is symmetrical and in theory dead even. But in practice, one side is usually better developed and he profits from opening lines. So we're gonna go over this example. So just follow along. Knight f3, knight f6, c4, c6, d4, d5, knight c3, e6, bishop g5, h6, bishop captures f6, ooh, fancy. Queen captures f6, queen c2, knight d7, e4, e captures e4, queen captures e4, and we have reached a pawn structure that we wanted. So this is when they have this pawn still, 4 and 3, right? So before it was 3 and 4, now it's 4 and 3. I mean, sorry, 3 and 4. The Caro-Kann structure. Queen d8, bishop d3, c5. So now the move here is d5. d5 assures White of superiority because of his control of the 2 central files. This became manifested after the moves knight to f6, queen e2, bishop d6, and then castles, very strong. Then after castles, bishop to c2. White wanted to occupy d5 with pieces. And after rook e8, queen d5, queen d3, he threatened rook h to e1, followed by d captures e6, and he prepared to play h2 to h3, g2, g4, g5. Black became so desperate in view of e captures d5 and knight captures d5, and then knight captures d5 and queen h7, that he tried the desperate b5 and lost the endgame after c captures b5, e captures d5, knight captures d5, knight captures d5, queen captures d5, bishop f4 check, king b1, queen captures d5, rook captures d5, bishop b7, and then rook captures c5. So where did Black go wrong? Okay, let's go back and analyze this one more time. Where did Black go wrong? So, we achieved the structure after the capture, right? After this capture, we achieved the 3 and 4 structure, right? The Caro structure, or the Slav. So where did he go wrong? Maybe c5, right? Maybe he wasn't ready to push with c5 yet. Maybe he should have bishop b7 castles, and maybe c5 then. But d5, very strong move. Knight, bishop to d6, and castles. So that was actually really strong. I'm just wondering, where did he go wrong? Because it looks like Black has some play, maybe. And e5 doesn't, well, it's let's say we want to make this move. e5 doesn't really stand out because we have our very natural plan, maybe of just playing here and here. So, interesting. Okay, so This is such a great game. And it seems very, very plain, right? Like, it seems like, okay, they just played a game and one person just won. But this is just based off the idea of the 3-4, the Caro formation, that you shouldn't play c5 too early or you get punished with d5. So we have to keep that in mind. Keep it in the old noggin. So let's go over another game that arose out of a Catalan opening this time. So d4, d5, c4, e6, knight f3, knight f6, g3, bishop e7, bishop g2, castles, castles, c6, and after c6, b3, knight b to d7, developing the piece, bishop b2, b6, queen c2, bishop e7, knight b to d2, rook c8, rook a to d1, queen c7, e4, and this is actually given an exclam. After e4, d captures e4, knight captures e4, knight captures e4, so we're getting that pawn structure that we know and hold dear. And then c5. If white retreats his queen and it allows c captures d4, the position approaches equality. The ambitious alternative, d5, black has a choice of two good answers. Knight f6, which neutralizes white's pieces, or the safer bishop f6. Works well after if bishop captures f6 here. Knight captures f6 because white loses a d-pawn without compensation. Better after d5 and bishop here is queen c2. E captures d5. C captures d5. When the pawn will be highly vulnerable following queen d6. Bishop cap, queen d6, or this move, knight f6, d6, queen b8. Okay, so let's go over this. They played knight f6 in the game, so let's go all the way back. So d5, knight f6, queen c2, e captures d5. So after e captures d5, e captures d5 makes d5 into a temporary gambit. White stands well after bishop e5, exclam, queen d8, knight g5, threatening mate. Very, very nice mate too. And forces g6. Because of the double pin on the d-pawn, white will regain his pawn, but he wants to retake on d5 with pieces rather than with a vulnerable pawn. So the guy who played this actually won 2 similar games from this position. So here he played h4 and knight h5. Bishop captures d5. Bishop captures d5. Rook captures d5. And now with the pawn, you might think, okay, pawn, pass pawn, I'm gonna win. No. We're gonna get our pieces active and we're gonna win that way. So queen e8. Rook e1. Very nice. Queen c6. Bishop b2. Still holding this line too. And also attacking here. First after bishop b2, rook f e8. White unleashed a far-sighted combination with knight captures h7. Ooh. Knight captures h7. I actually don't see it. Oh, he wants this, right? Oh, yeah, I see it now. So knight captures a7, bishop captures h4. Rook e to d1. Queen e6. Bam, queen e6. Queen c3, threatening checkmate. f6. Queen d3, threatening again. Queen g4. And then rook to g5. Which is nice. And another move that he can play is rook to d7. But if you really had a choice of rook g5 or rook d7, what would you play? I think rook g5 just looks beautiful. Just blocking off the queen from this. And the main point that bishop captures g5, queen captures g6, and knight g7 loses to knight captures f6, check, and bishop captures f6. So black tried queen e4. Knight captures f6, check. Knight captures f6. G captures h4. Rook e to d8. But lost the game endgame after queen captures. Rook captures d8, check. f7. Bishop captures f6. King captures rook d6. And after rook d6, king f7. Rook d takes. Here. Queen captures on h4 and rook g7, check. The takeaway is when the structure becomes symmetrical after c5 and d4, d5, or e captures d5, it is piece play, not the pawns that usually matter. Okay, so let's say that one more time. The takeaway is when the structure becomes symmetrical after c5, d4, d5, or e captures d5 by black, it is piece play, not the pawns that matter. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for being part of this. If you have any questions, put it down below. And if you have any comments of what you want to learn, please also put that down below because I really appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Especially you right there. See you next time.